Welcome to the show, everyone. This week in flag football is back in action. Another great weekend of games. I'm talking about Saturday co-ed. I'm talking about Sunday in the men's division over in Schenectady, an overtime thriller between the SOS and Thrasher team. Colin, we've got a lot to report on.
We do, but we got a fantastic week, as you mentioned. But before we go into that, on the show, I have said specifically, if the Scrapers go through and they start putting together better wins, we would give them some love on the show. You proved me wrong. I'm a man of my word. Congratulations. You got a big win this weekend. We will continue to keep an eye on you, but this past weekend you showed that you are for real and you do deserve to get some respect. So that is my apology to you. Congratulations, and we will keep our eye on you going forward. Before we get back, I'll give it to Frank.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I did also put that up on the message board. I don't know if you checked it out or not, but I said, hey, big win over a great team. Keep it up. And we're going to talk about you guys on the show tonight, which you just did at least an introduction of them. But we're going to get more into that pause when we get to the scores and the standings and some of the stories that we have regarding that big victory. But I don't have any other things to report on right now except the normal youth, men's indoor, our floorball and basketball. That's all going to be going on this winter, as I always tell everybody every week. All they have to do is go to www.allamericansportsrecreation.com and click on the sport you desire. Colin, A Division action. How's it look?
It looks absolutely, positively fantastic. Now let's get right to our scoreboard and you'll see why. Laney, 6-0 over Sampson's 49ers. Shocked that the score was so low. Sampsons were able to keep it competitive. Blaze.
No,
I was trying to be nice.
Oh, you're trying to be nice. All right, you knew.
Rocky, where you going?
He's embarrassed because he runs a team and they don't even have enough guys.
That's terrible. That is disgusting. But on the positive side, we did find out that Rocco's had another name of Rocky. So we'll be calling him that from now on.
All right.
In addition to Fogham and Snowball.
Oh.
Yeah. Some things never die. They just keep adding to the legend. See you soon, Rocky.
Legend is right.
Blaze, 35-0 over Sampson's Fighting Irish and another shutout. Valenti's Panthers, 35-14 over the NEKF Tigers. GotBeer.com, 33-20 over PalmerAutos.com. Thought that game would go the other way. I picked them in the segment, Palmer Autos. Renegades, 22-zip over the Jiffy Chips. And that rounds out our A division. Frank, were you surprised that Valenti's Panthers were able to handle the Tigers 35-14 so easily? I know the Tigers are struggling, but I thought that game would be a little bit closer.
Well, they're just the one thing that's really bothering me right now is that they have the door open in the studio and there's a lot of chit chat and they don't even know we're on the air.
Yeah, I think they know, they just don't care. I'm telling you, it's like Jim Lewis all over again.
Yeah, you'd think they would shut the door or kind of go a little quiet.
Yeah.
They continue to talk to us. Sorry,
and Rocky's standing right there looking like a stalker, so he might want to close the door.
I don't know.
Just saying.
All right, but anyway, getting back to your question, I'm not that surprised only because the Tigers every week now, aside from injuries, the door's shut.
How about that?
Aside from injuries, they also have just not had anybody showing up, and it's gotten worse and worse as the season has progressed. So I think, this is just one of those things where it's one of those seasons for them. They do like the A division, so I don't think they're going anywhere. I think they need to regroup.
Well, this will tell you everything you need to know about the season the Tigers have been having. Tom Chichester, Chimichanga is what I like to call him.
Sure.
He was looking for a moral victory. He went on there, he gave the Panthers all kinds of credit, and at the end of the post, he says, how about we give it up for our, I think it was 44-year-old receiver who scored 2 touchdowns for them. So he's looking for little moral victories. And listen, Jerry Jones, you're not. Go out there and win the game. Don't look for moral victories. I understand you're trying to give Prince some credit, so we'll say his name here, Prince Knight, the 44-year-old receiver who got your 2 touchdowns. But you need to build more around him. You got a good quarterback in Shane Bishop, his elusiveness, and you had a pretty good line coming up through the year. So I don't know if that's where he's struggling to get people, but I'm shocked that he's struggling to get people. That team is so well organized and so well run that surprised me that they're struggling to get numbers, because I wouldn't think he of anybody would have that problem.
Yeah, no, there's one other thing I want to point out, too, is the shine on Mr. Shane Bishop is off right now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there is not, I'm not saying from the team, I'm just saying from the point of view that everybody thinking, wow, he had a great indoor season with Laney's. He came out, he had a pretty good start, but now that kind of shine is wearing off, like it does with a lot of quarterbacks that have a lot of hype.
Yeah.
So I don't know, though, if it's Shane or it could be the O-line or it could be the entire offense. So I can't blame him entirely.
I'm going to go in a different direction.
Okay.
It was like the pistol formation. Last year in the NFL, it was all the rage. And everybody kept saying, give the defenses time to figure it out, and they can game plan accordingly. Maybe that's what they're figuring out now. The A division, this isn't their first rodeo in the A division, quote unquote. So maybe the other teams, they hadn't figured out Shane when they initially came in. But now as time's gone by, they're in week 8 of the season coming up this coming week, I should say. Now they've kind of figured him out. So now it's time, to your earlier point, maybe they just have to regroup and reorganize.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. How about the standings?
Let's move right into and I'm going to get it right this week, the Double A division.
Nice.
We've got the Blaze at 7-0. They've wrapped up the number 1 seed. Followed by Laney's at 5-2. Valenti's Panthers and GotBeer.com at 4-3. Interesting to see how that shakes itself out. Followed by PalmerAutos.com at 3-3. In the A division, we've got the Renegades at 5-2, followed by Samsons and Samsons, the 49ers at 3-3, and the Fighting Irish at 2-5. Then we've got the NEKF Tigers at 1-6, followed by Jiffy Chips at 0-7. That rounds out our A division. Let's go to Frank, who'll take us into the B's.
Okay, one last point on the A division, Colin. It's a shame because the Samsons 49ers, they got a chance to play Laney's. They were 3-2 going into the game. And Laney's also had a decent record. They were 4-2 at that point. I think it would have been an interesting matchup. I don't know why the 9 a.m. game was such a problem, but maybe 5 or 6 guys actually showed up from the Samsons team. But I think that game could have been one for the ages if they played each other.
If they showed up.
Yeah, so that's a shame, but hopefully they get another crack at each other.
And hopefully we didn't just lose power and we're still on the air.
No, I think they shut the lights down. Maybe there's a mail review coming in or something like that nature.
Let's hope not.
All right,
hope not. Fogel might be excited behind that.
Yeah.
But,
No,
not us. I don't know. Jazz, would you be excited by that?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So we've got Fogham and Sogum, the second.
Wow.
The first and the second. Look at
right.
that.
That's good.
Hi, Rocky.
He doesn't respond. All right, guys, B Division scoreboard. We've got the Vikings 26-6 over Philly Bar and Grill. Way to bounce back. Not sure if Mosier played, but they had a couple losses, and they needed that victory badly. 41 Sports Bar Titans. This is another very, very solid win for them. They win 21-19 over the Giuseppe Warriors. Giuseppe is a good, solid team, Colin.
I concur.
Okay, we go on to the Bootlegger Predators. They are on a bit of a roll, and they win 35-12 over Kaiser. Here's a game that is a little surprising to me. I knew the Rugged Rams would win this game, and I was pretty adamant last week on the show that this was the hot, strong team right now, but 31-0 over the Rampage.
Yeah, I thought that would be a lot closer. Though, to your credit, I think we all picked the Rams last week, but you came out with some inside information. Strong. You were more determined in your pick than we were. It was kind of like that was the feeling we were going, but you actually guaranteed the pick, so good job out of you.
Yeah, no, I just feel like that's a team that needs to be reckoned with right now.
Wow.
Silly Wabbit.
Wow.
Anyway, that's just the sugar is very high right now from the alcoholic weekend.
Must be.
Yeah, so.
I don't drink, so I wouldn't know
I
what
ran
that
out
meant.
of insulin, too. Oh, you don't drink?
Bad situation made worse.
What do you mean you don't drink?
I don't drink much.
Anymore.
Not since Saturday.
Not since Saturday.
I stopped.
Nah, you're 48 hours clean.
That's right.
Good for you. Take it day by day. All right, anyway, we've got the Aztecs 24-16 over the Bootlegger Bulldogs. Good game. And then in a really, really good game, the Cannon Barrel Pub. Okay, they lose to 41 Sports Bar the previous week, and you'll see in the standings that I think they have 2 losses right now. But they beat Forever Bandana, a team that was previous undefeated, 7-6.
Don't want to call that a barn burner, but what my sources tell me were the Terry boys were absolutely beasting on the line play in that game. Forever Bandana couldn't do anything against the Terrys. And that's what we had spoken about earlier in the season. If those guys are on that line, I forget who the other lineman is, but if they're in there and they're doing what they're supposed to do, they're going to be a problem, and that showed this weekend. Now, if they can get that offense fixed, scoring more than 7 points, if your line is dominating to that capacity, and this may have been Forever Bandana, they were playing some great defense as well. I'm not 100% sure, but what my sources did tell me were specifically the Terry boys were dominating in that game.
Yeah, well, excuse me. You know that they can do that whenever they want to. It's about turning it up a notch. Yeah. I think in this game they turned it up. I don't know why in the previous games I refereed their loss against 41 Sports Bar, why they did not do that, but for some reason in this game they did. A couple other points. Weezy was quarterbacking this game as well as the previous games. Matt Tomorrow, as we talked about, Tank, he is injured. He's playing another position only because he can't throw the ball right now.
Okay.
So he is going to come back. He will be their starter. He did mention that Saturday that he does not have pus coming out. Apparently I said that on the show. We thought he was home.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
You want to be pus-free.
Yeah, so he's pus-free. And Ashley didn't appreciate that comment either.
And she's not, she's not ashamed. She's not averse to popping a dude. So
no.
You don't want to get on her bad side.
She's probably from Cohoes. They hit men. Anyway, folks, unlike in Rensselaer where the men hit the women. So what we have here is a team that's not scoring much, but they did get it done with Weezy at quarterback. And look, 7-6 is 7-6. They needed the victory because they're 5-2. Imagine 4-3 against that strong division, and we'll go into the standings right now. Forever Bandana now is tied with 41 Sports Bar. They're both 6-1. That 41 Sports Bar team I really like right now. Rugged Rams and Cannon Barrel Pub, both 5-2. The Rugged Rams, I can't wait for them to start playing the really big teams even more so than they have, because I think maybe I should rephrase that. I don't know what their schedule has been thus far, but I'm looking forward to them in the playoffs. I think that's where they're going to start to shine. Yeah,
in the playoffs you'll get a more accurate reading because in the playoffs you got everybody who's earned their way in. There aren't any bottom feeders in the playoffs. So you won't, for example, Kaiser, Bootleggers, Philly Bar and Grill, they've got 3 wins between them. I'm not sure off the top of my head how many of those Ram wins came from those 3 teams. But the fact that they just beat up and embarrassed, for lack of a better term, the Rampage 31-0. That shows that they are able to do some things when everything's clicking. They're able to turn it up and put some points on the board.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and that's why I'm really interested in the Rugged Rams and 41 Sports Bar. I think the B playoffs are going to be really, really competitive this year. Behind them is the Bootlegger Predators Vikings, both 4-3. And then you have the Rampage Aztecs and Giuseppe Warriors all at 3-4. The top 8 are going to make it. So right now it comes down to those 3, 3, and 4 teams. Of course, there's 2 games left. So, I mean, if things really work out, you could have a serious mess on your hands from 5 to 9.
Inside sources letting me know that the Bootleggers Predators team, there's a little bit of infighting on that team. There was. So I don't know if they got everything resolved and rectified. Then they were able to go out there and put up a big win against this Kaiser team. Even though Kaisers have struggled, those are the kind of games that you want when you got the team down. You want to put your foot on their throat and don't let them get any air. Jason Garrett, take that lesson next time.
Yeah, and Kaiser and Philly, the 2 teams at the bottom, they're not horrible teams by any means. I've seen some of their scores, and some of the games, even against really good teams, have been competitive. So it's not. It may be a win on the check mark for the top teams, but it's not an easy win.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I concur.
C Division.
C Division, let's get right to it. Dublin's Bootleggers 35-0 over Team Bronze. NWO 41-6 over Swag Champs. Scrapers 26-20 over Fuller's Tavern. Once again, we mentioned it at the start of the show. Scrapers, you did what you needed to do. You put the bullseye on yourselves by asking to get Pub on the show. You haven't lost since then. And now you've beaten a quality team, so that's the kind of thing you want. You ask for the heat, so to speak. That starts tomorrow night, by the way. Miami 3 Heat. Gotcha. You ask for the heat, and you go through and you come through and prove that you deserve it. So, again, nothing but respect going out to the Scrapers. Ask for it, and then you showed it and come through. Big win over Fuller's team this past weekend.
Mm-hmm. You got to take it, you got to get it, you got to show it, and then you got to keep it. That's the formula.
There you go. Hopefully you don't take it, though. Pause.
Oh.
Mario's Restaurant, unless you're Snowball over there.
Wow.
13-12 over Elbow Room Hawks. Bloodline 22-20 over the Avengers. Side Door Grill Bombers 39-12 over Bootleggers Hurricanes. Murphy's Mama's Boys 27-20 over the Armadillos. CM Fox Realty 41-6 all over the Ravens. The Kryptonite 22-21 over the Franchise. What kind of game was that?
That game was a giant, big time, wide as you can be, barn burner. Pause.
One more time. Stay ready. KDO Burns SOS 35-29 over Bronx Street Thrashers in overtime. What kind of game was that?
Put that one on a pedestal because that's a big time division title type barn burner.
We've been doing this show way too long because that's exactly what I was going to say. That's a division title winning barn burner.
Oh,
look at
big
that.
time.
We are in symmetry right now.
Even though we're different colors.
How about that? One's black, one's white.
Which one is what?
Yes, we won't tell. It's
Check
a
your
secret.
pants.
It's a secret.
Oh, there's a secret.
That's a dead giveaway if you do that.
Oh, my goodness.
Dirty
You'd be
Birds,
surprised.
22-16 over Dream Team. No, I won't because you are not shy showing what little you got.
Oh!
Johnny Carson in the house, folks. Anyway, Frank, what jumps out at you at the C Division scoreboard?
Your comment. The C Division scoreboard, you said. Okay. Well, I mean, a couple things. Right now, Mario's Restaurant 13-12 over Elbow Room Hawks. A little surprised on that one. The Hawks are a better team than that. That kind of surprised me. Scrapers being Fullers, I think I'm pretty much on the Fuller bandwagon before that game. Slight surprise, but the Scrapers are a good team. And, the other games are very competitive. I'm impressed with the Thrashers, though, that they were able to play that closely with SOS because, quite frankly, I didn't have them in the same league as far as level.
See, I thought they would be close enough just because of how they've developed over the years and the fact that they had so much confidence in their ability. Yeah. They thought they were going to actually run the table. Yeah. Or I'm sorry, maybe they thought they would lose one more loss.
No, you're right.
But in order to do that, you have to be a quality team because no scrub team is going to think they're going to run the table unless it's in the reverse where you're just getting hammered all the time. Not drunk hammered, but like getting beat up on the playing field.
Of course.
So in order to do that, you have to have some talent. So I'm not surprised that they were able to keep it that close. But I think to your first point, the Elbow Room Hawks, losing that game was brutal. That was a winless team that they had lost to, and now that puts them at 3-4, and it's going to come down to tiebreaker scenarios for their playoff spots.
Yeah, can I just say, you're going to go to the standings. They would have been at 4-3, the only 4-3 team in Albany, and secured in the 6th slot. Now when you go through the standings, you'll see what happened because of that loss.
Oh, that was devastating. Well, let's get right to the standings. Dublin's Bootleggers, and then there was one. The only undefeated team in the C Division resides in Albany. They are 7-0. NWO and the Scrapers both 6-1. Fuller's Tavern and Side Door Grill Bombers both 5-2. And then, as we mentioned, Swag Champs, Murphy's Mama's Boys, and Elbow Room Hawks with Bootleggers Hurricanes all 3-4. Armadillos, Bloodline, and the Avengers 2-5. And then we've got Team Gold and Mario's Restaurant at 1-6, rounding out the Albany division.
And you see that the top 7 are going to make the playoffs. So that really, the loss, I can't even imagine what Decky Lawson is feeling right now. I don't know if they were missing guys or what was going on, or maybe Mario's came up and played the best games of their careers, their young careers at this point. But, to see now that there are no teams in Albany that have 0 losses, 0 wins is pretty good.
Yeah, I think, and it's a normal tendency, but we've been talking about it on the show for the last couple of weeks. You tend to play down your competition when you see a team with 0 wins going into this game. They scored 13 in the last game, so 59 points through the first 6 games, not 10 points a game. So you kind of think that, I would think that what they were thinking was, we're going to win this game pretty easily, so we don't need to bring our A game. But as we've said time and time again on the show, if you don't come ready to play, somebody could jump up and bite you. And in this case, it may have jumped up and taken them out of a playoff spot.
It's possible. They didn't even have to bring their A game because they play in the C. So even if they brought their C game, they would have been in good shape.
Yeah, they may have brought their D game, and that D got them a defeat.
Wow. Oh, that's good.
Just right off the top. Look at that. Over in Schenectady, we've got KDO Burns SOS at 6-1, followed by Bronx Street Thrashers and CM Fox Realty at 5-2. Dirty Birds and Franchise Dream Team all 3-4. And then we've got the Kryptonites at 2-5, and the Ravens round out the Schenectady C Division at 0-7.
Now, Colin, you know, you look at those standings, and the top 4 will make it from Schenectady. Of course, there's going to be a wild card from either Albany or Schenectady, but, you know, 4, 5, and 6 all at 3-4. They're 2 games back of the third-place Falcons. So it looks like the top 3 teams are going to be a lock, obviously, to get into the playoff and get a decent seed. But those other 3 teams are going to be battling for only 1 playoff spot, most likely, because in Albany, you're thinking that hopefully somebody's going to come through and have a above 500 record. But I've always thought that because of numbers. But when we look at the numbers, may not be true.
No, you got too many right there with 3 and 4 between 3 in Albany, 4 in Albany, 3 in Schenectady. Excuse me. You never know. Somebody could get in. They may be like the NFC East. Somebody's going to get in with a crappy record.
Yeah.
They'll probably be one and done, but at least they'll get there.
Yeah.
You don't want to get in there on a downslide. So who knows? There's still 2 games left to figure this out. But, yeah, I'm not sure it's going to be a 500 or above.
No, I mean, in both divisions, there are 2-game leads from the top echelon teams to the bottom teams that are trying to fight for a playoff spot. So, I mean, this is pretty critical. But this is what we want with 2 weeks to go. This is where you don't have to wait to the playoffs if you're one of these teams. This is the playoffs.
Yeah, your playoffs start right now.
Right now.
Right now. This coming Sunday. Say it in Spanish, too. Domingo. Right. Sunday. Ahora. Right now.
Yes.
Rocky, did you know that?
I can say uno, dos, tres. I'm learning, though, folks. I'm learning. I'm going to get myself a Spanish girl from Venezuela, bring her over here, and get her a green card. Then we'll have marriage and kids.
Can I go to the wedding? No kids for you. No. No. Go for the wedding, but no, please don't.
We'll adopt. Can we adopt?
No.
What if they're 16?
No, that's even worse, Woody Allen.
Wow. Woody Allen. All right, folks. So we will be back later with more men's action when we give you the roundtable, and the insider will be in. He had a busy weekend. I'm not sure what kind of inside information he can give us, but of course the big one is we want to know about one of his teams, why they didn't show up in full force to play Laney's. And of course, if he has any inside information on the Thrashers and SOS game, I'm very curious about how that all played out. Was it back and forth? Did one team take off and then the other team catch up? But the good thing is, as far as the officiating, we heard nothing from either of those 2 teams.
That was brutally,
yeah.
Not brutally is the wrong choice of word. That was of critical importance, because in that game, you never know what kind of game you're going to get, except it's going to be a physical game where there's going to be a lot of contact. And on the message board, they said everything was gravy. So you love to hear that. But before we go any further, we should have done this earlier because we rip Rocco relentlessly.
Yes.
We do have to acknowledge that he was away this weekend for the passing of his aunt, so we just want to give him our sympathies to him and his family in all sincerity.
Absolutely. He does so much for the league, and of course we all know every once in a while that family must come first, and again, I echo those sentiments. All right, now Week 7 scores for the Co-Ed Flag Football League. We start off with Dell Lanes, a big 37-20 victory over Kohlers, a Kohlers team that thought like they had a momentum going after a victory the previous week over the Green Machine, I believe it was, but they lose behind the MVP performance of
MVP, and he may be the leading candidate to be the league MVP of this season. MVP Jeff Smith.
Right. Now, somebody picked in the the scores that were coming in that it was just the team. But really, I had to go with somebody, and I knew he could do wrong. I mean, 37 points, Kohler's team, you go with Jeff Smith.
Absolutely.
And I agree with you that he could be the leading candidate right now. All right, Riff Raff, they stay on the W column with another big victory over Green Machine, 28-14.
MVP of that game, Lady Salsa. That's her new name. Every time she scores, she likes Victor Cruz. She tries to do a little salsa move, but
wow.
no, she couldn't do it.
It's not working?
No,
She's too white?
It was terrible. Oh. It was awful.
Wow.
But congrats. The touchdown, length of the field.
Length of the
Length
field.
of the 60-yard touchdown. Had a couple people missing as they went after the flag. She said, all I kept doing, I didn't hear a whistle, I just kept running. So everybody was missing her flag, 60-yard touchdown. Good job for you, Trish, but you got to work on your salsa, baby.
Yeah, work on that, especially if you're scoring touchdowns. I recommend the defenders, they'll go after her implants if they can't get the flag.
Wow. That'd be a penalty because the flags are down here, not up here.
Oh.
So grabbing at the implants would be...
All right.
Yeah,
well, maybe if
that
she
would
was
not be good.
Okay. I guess if she was a center, then it would be legal.
Yeah. And how do you know they're implants?
I know her doctor.
Okay, I will not go any further. She carries a gun.
Wow. All right. There was some dripping the other week. Anyway, folks, a bag fell out. The other thing that we had was the Sampsons Misfits. Here's a team undefeated after having a bad season, really. If you think about it, they were in the B playoffs, even though they won it. But they went 31-12 over a Dula-less Silver Bullets.
And the MVP of that game, Brittany, the life of the party.
Is that spelled correctly?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay, because I like that, though. Brittany, the life of the party. She's got a new nickname.
That's what I do. I just come up with this stuff just like that.
Now, this MVP I had to leave in there because I thought it was great.
Yeah, and I love saying
Steve,
it.
Yes, you love saying it. I thought it was great. Steve put it in there, so I decided to leave it. This was the McGeary's Honey Badgers. They had a great game. Of course, we expect them to beat the lower-level teams now, and they certainly did that, 39-6 over Good Touch, Bad Touch.
The MVP of that game, the entire McGeary's team, better known as the Hoe Bags.
And it just says...
Bags.
Hoe Bags, yes. Now, that's not just for the girls, that's girls and guys.
I would assume it was just for the girls because some of the guys don't look like they get a lot, so I can't see them being...
Whoa!
I'm just keeping it real. That's what I do.
Goodness.
I can't see them being hoish, so I'm thinking the Hoe Bags are the chicks.
Just because you get a new girl every week doesn't mean they don't.
Hey, not me. Not me. Not anymore.
No, we can't. I'm kidding. I'm
Te
kidding,
amo
Mrs.
mucho.
Martin.
Te amo mucho.
Mrs. Martin, I only
Even though I just said my name much. Te quiero mucho.
All right.
You know.
You're in that household way too much.
You know who I'm talking about.
It's crazy.
But back in my day.
Oh, back in the day.
Watch out.
Now it's just your wife and rice.
Couldn't tell me nothing.
And it didn't matter who.
That's right.
All right, AGL 3 weeks ago. AGL Renegades 27, Andy's Maniacs 6.
MVP of that game, Marcel Scott.
All right, Marcel actually had a really good game. I liked his, he's a new quarterback. I don't know why they changed him like midway through the game, maybe because it was a blowout, but I liked the way he operated the offense. And so he's a very skilled athlete, learning to play quarterback, but he did a nice job.
That would explain a lot, though, if he's just learning to play quarterback, because a lot of times I've seen them play, and he doesn't trust what he's seeing. He holds the ball too long before he throws. He hesitates before he delivers, so he pump fakes, and then he ends up throwing it. But if he's just learning to play, that explains a lot.
No, I thought he did a really good job. I just don't know why he got pulled with still like a whole half to go, because I thought he was very effective. And, you know, even if the score gets out of hand, he's the kind of guy that you want to leave in there to get more and more reps.
Exactly.
All right, so we had him as the MVP. Then we had the Dirty Birds 31-6 over Brad Lewis Lawn Care. I officiated that game, and I'm really surprised Brad Lewis did not put up more of a fight.
MVP of that game, Hall of Famer Mary McCarthy. Chris Carter is what I call her.
Yeah, she was once again unbelievable. I never really watched her as far as the way she catches the ball, but I mean, her hands are better than 90% of the guys.
Yes.
I mean, the way she pulls that ball in, is unbelievable. But anyway, great game to her. Now, the Woolrath Recruiting Bunnies 40, they beat Darkside 33. Darkside had the game in hand and were leading by a couple touchdowns. Bunnies come back behind.
MVP, future Hall of Famer, Craig Kimbrough.
We're running out of time, so let's get the standings. Top 7 here, folks. Sampson's, Dell Lanes, and the Riff Raff, all 7-0 heading into Week 8. The Bunnies, 5-2 by themselves in 4th place. And then you have the Dirty Birds, Green Machine, AGL, all 4-3.
Followed by McGarry's also 4-3. Those are your top 8. The top
Right.
8 playoff seeds are already locked up for the A division. Brad Lewis Lawn Care, Darkside Kohler's all 2-5. Silver Bullets, Andy's Maniacs both 1-6. And then Good Touch, Bad Touch at 0-7.
Imagine that, folks. You can't even get into the playoffs with 1 week to go. That's the A playoffs, as we mentioned. Other news I want to bring up is the Silver Bullets had said if they make the B playoffs, which is now a lock, they will not play in it.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
They've said that ever since this format was instituted, so there'll probably be a bye or something for the top seed.
There you go, Colin. So the co-ed playoff scenario is set, except for seeding-wise. It's going to be a great one, especially if those 3 teams remain undefeated in the last week.
They can't. They play each other.
They do. Okay,
Del
well,
Lanes and
2
Riff
teams.
Raff play each other.
All right, so there you have it, folks. One of them is going to go down anyway.
Pause.
All right, on that note, we will be back in 2 and 2 with the Insider and the Roundtable segment.
Yay, Rocky!